Hi guys, this is Tina. Welcome back to my channel. So I'm here for a bit more of a play with our Edith Holden journal that we're making, and our sort of nature themed journal. So I'll just give you a quick recap of the bits that we have done so far. I can't remember, I have to be honest, whether I made this on camera or not. But I've got this as a pocket to put somewhere. I just did very quickly this little flippy pad, just from some little offcuts of the green food coloured paper. And then we did this, what do you call this? Like an envelope, little foldy pocket thing, which this will just be clipped in somewhere with a paper clip. So the journal's coming on really nicely, I think. And yeah, I'm quite pleased with how it's looking so far. So if I just kind of have a look and see what other things that we might want to do, because we've got some of those, wherever they are, well there's one, Edith Holden pages that of course we've made sort of semi pockets. So we could decorate up a couple of those quickly. So I'm just going to sort of hold that down. So for this one, just pulling in some of that yellow lace again. And again, I'm going to just ink it up slightly before I glue it down. So running out of space on my table. So I've just got my, you know, vintage photo here, and we're just going to ink this up a little bit with the brush there, like that. Okay. Right, so I'm kind of thinking, you know, we'll just pop some along the edge. So I'm just going to trim that down. And again, I will probably just take that header piece off of there. Oops. Okay. So we've got that there. Now, I'd torn out a couple of the flowers from the book. Obviously, you can see, I mean, it's much too big to go on here, but I mean, we could have it maybe on this side. Let's just have a look. Still got that tiny piece that I had torn off the other day. So we could have that sort of maybe coming out somewhere. It's quite nice, isn't it? And also, don't forget, I've also got the back of here, which, again, you know, I might want to do a couple of things there. So I mustn't forget about the back. I'm just going to pull in a couple of the green napkin doilies. Hold on. Right, so whilst I was up, I actually grabbed in a few more pages as well, so that I didn't have to bore you flicking through the book, trying to find, you know, other pages to use. So let's move some of this stuff now, you know, out of the way. Right, okay, so we were going to be popping down some little bits and pieces on here, weren't we? So we've got that lace there, which looks pretty. I can't get this to actually stay down, which is really annoying. I'm just having a look round now to see what I could weigh it down with. I wonder if that will do it. Yay. Okay, right. What a bodgy crafting method that is. So I'm just going to sort of squash that down there. Okay, and I've got some green doily here. So again, we'll just pull a bit of that off. Kind of thinking, you know, tuck it in there a little bit. I might just have even just like a really delicate flower or something there. And also thought maybe I might have a dictionary definition. So let me just grab another pair of scissors so that I don't have to remove those for a minute. Okay, I've got flower here. Okie dokie. It's a little bit wide for there, but it's fine for here. So I'm going to do it like that, I think. So just pop that doily piece down. Oh my gosh, come back. Come back. Okay. And just pop that down there. Just use my wipe there. And then I'm just going to ink up this bit of flower. I mean, it's only a tiny little piece, but, you know, we might as well use it, mightn't we? So I'm just going to pop that on like that. Just there. And then this doesn't really need inking up, to be honest, because this has been printed on ivory, but we'll just ink it up a little bit. Okay, just pop that down there. Okay, so that looks pretty, doesn't it? And then we're going to have the yellow lace running down there, I think. Okay, so that looks really nice. So let me just get my 3-in-1. And just pop that down there. Okay, right. So looking pretty so far. Okay, do we want anything else like on this part, or shall we just leave it in its glory like that? I mean, it's quite pretty as it is, to be honest, isn't it? It doesn't really need anything else. So I might just leave it. But we want to obviously pop something in here, so perhaps we'll make just a little sort of piece to put in there. And again, you know, just want to make something quite flimsy really, because, you know, this is only sort of book page. It's not overly thick or anything. So we don't want to do anything that's going to, you know, cause damage taking it in and out. I mean, actually, I've got some of this paper. This was just laying around on the desk. It's just a scrap, but I mean, it does actually kind of go quite nicely. So perhaps we could tuck that in. Obviously you can see it's like overhanging a bit. Does that matter? I mean, we could fold it, but that just seems a bit boring to have it folded. Should we trim it in slightly? Just come in slightly, maybe on either side. A bit there. And then just a little bit here. Yeah, weirdly, it was just floating around, just literally kind of above where I'm working on the desk. And I thought, oh, that looks quite good there, actually. Oh, that looks really good. I mean, sometimes it's just the simplest things, isn't it, that, you know, that work the best. So that's that page. And then on here, again, we could just pop something there. So I'm just going to sort of hold that down. Might have to get the jar again. Okay. I mean, we could just have a bit of lace or something. Let's just have a look. I mean, maybe just a bit going along that way. And then we could have like a flower or something. Let me just, again, looking at the ones that I have brought along, you know, that I just quickly grabbed. As I say, I mean, it kind of is a problem because both sides of a lot of these pages have things that I really do love, and it's then deciding which side. I mean, I love this, but having said that, this gives us a lot more options, doesn't it? So let's just go for this side. Okay. What I'll do is just have this on here. Or do we want it like poking out from there? Well, I mean, I guess we can have something else there, can't we? What do you think? Let me just ink this up a little bit. Or what we could do, I guess, just noticed I had a label there. We could maybe have a little label here and a bit of lace. Yeah, yep, I quite like that. So let's just pop this flower down. And just pop that there, like that. Okay, and then this one. Okay, and then we'll just pop this one down here. Hello, sweetheart. All right. Okay, and just, sorry, that's just got a sort of corner there that just needs to come up. My daughter's just come into the room, so say hi, sweetie. Good girl. Okay, and then I'm just going to put a little tiny bit of lace just like here, I think. So just then do a bit of inking like that. Just have it there. So again, let me just trim that down slightly. Okay. And just then have that like that, I think. So just run that little bit of glue there. There we go. Oops. I seem to have multiple projects on the go at the moment, and I don't know about you guys, but I go through these phases where sometimes, you know, you struggle with your mojo a bit, and then other times literally, you know, you can't kind of go fast as the ideas are coming. And I seem to be in that mode at the moment, which I don't get me wrong, that's amazing and great. I would much rather it that way. It's so frustrating when you're getting no inspiration, isn't it? But yeah, it just means that then I'm hopping around all the time, and you know, I might be filming a few different projects at the same time, which, you know, my logical part is saying, I just do one thing at a time. Why are you, you know, why are you kind of jumping about? But then my other side is like, oh no, I just want to have a go at that, and I just want to have a go at that. So it's hard to stay on one thing at a time. Right, now I've got some of this green lace trim, so I'm going to just sort of have that there. I think I will just hot glue that on, because you probably can see, but it's like sort of ruched, you know, from where it was stitched on the curtains. So it just is going to stick a lot better with the hot glue than having to hold it down for a few minutes with the Fabri-Tac. So just do it like that. Okay, so on this side here, this is a thicker page, so I can actually, you know, make some sort of pocket. So let me just put the lid on my glue, so hopefully I don't have more glue problems. So I've got here, this is some scrapbook paper, again, that I've had in my stash for like ages. And, you know, colour-wise, I just thought, well, this goes perfectly with, you know, the pieces that we're doing. So I'm just going to have that, I think, as a little, you know, fold-out kind of piece. And again, I'm just going to sort of decorate it up, I think, with some of the bits that we're using to tie it in. So let's just tear this one down. Like that. Okay. I mean, obviously I'm trying to cover up this, you know, because although I didn't mind that as the scrapbook paper, I don't necessarily want that, here on this piece, if that makes sense. So just check whether I'm better off having it, you know, in the top corner and having my little decorative pieces up there, or whether I'd prefer to have it at the bottom and try and cover it up at the bottom. So again, I'm just going to ink this up a little bit, like that. I mean, you know, it's better at the top because it just covers that up instantly. So I'll just put that there. Now, just before I stick that down, I just want to check whether I wanted to have any of my green doily. So just, oh yeah, that's nice, isn't it? Okay, so, oh gosh, every time I grab something, something else comes in, you know, off the desk. Because, I mean, don't get me wrong, my desk's always a tip. I can't pretend that it's not. But not helped by the fact that where I am doing multiple projects at once at the moment, literally, I have like a pile for this project over here, I have a pile for that project over there, you know, and my desk is only quite small, so I can't tell you the appearance of the piles that are sort of gathered around. Oh my gosh, what am I doing? Okay, right. So we'll just pop that on there. Let me just dab up that glue. Okay. So that's quite nice, isn't it? And I might just have that down, you know, more in the corner, I think. And yeah, I mean, I'm just going to leave this really nice just as an opening for journaling space, I think. Now, do we want obviously a bit of lace on there? Lace is always good, isn't it? Everything's nice with a bit of lace. Might even have it on that side for a change. So let me just, again, ink it up, because I'm just inking bits of this as I go. So I'm kind of, you know, some of it might be inked and others not, if you see what I mean. So we'll just then, oops, ink that up there. Like that. Okay. Just trim that off. And again, I'm just going to get rid of that header sort of piece. Like that. Okay, so that looks pretty, doesn't it? Now, I've just spotted laying about on my desk, I've just got this stamped kind of postcardy piece, and I just wondered whether that might look quite cute just in the background. I don't mind it. It's maybe not quite right because, you know, it's quite dark, and it, you know, probably would have looked better with something plainer. So I'm just quickly having a bit of a scoot around in case there's anything else that I'd quite like to add. I have got a bit of that vintage newspaper still, so we could add that. Oops, let me just tear that down. Oh yeah, that's really nice, isn't it? Just so as we've got sort of something else of interest in the background. So just then glue that down. And again, you know, I just need to add glue all over this because, you know, where it's quite brittle, you know, it's likely to crack. And then obviously if it wasn't glued down in any particular place, it would then start, you know, maybe coming off of the page. I don't know whether it would, but I just always like to have things stuck down better rather than, you know, more rather than less, if you see what I mean. Okay, so I quite like it like that. So I think we'll just then stick this in. Now this is horribly not straight at the bottom. So I'm just going to trim that up slightly. I don't know whether it's any better, I've got to be honest, but there we go. Do we want to round the corners? That maybe would make it look a little bit more, you know, professional. I mean, not that it needs to look professional, obviously, but finished off. Let's just say finished off. Okay, right. Oh, that looks lovely, doesn't it? Yeah. So I'm going to just glue that down. I might just use my hot glue, I think. So I'm going to glue it down, I think, as a, oops, as a tuck spot. So just kind of glue on two sides there. Like that. Okay. Press that down. Like that. Okay, so that looks really nice, doesn't it? Now, do we want any more lace or anything? Let's just see. Maybe a little bit up here. Definitely that green is looking good, isn't it? So definitely want some somewhere. It's just a case of which piece. I've also got this, which maybe, let me just cut that down. You know, because we might prefer it sort of more like that. Because that looks a little bit flowerish, doesn't it? Does it? Or am I just making that up? Am I imagining that completely? Maybe it doesn't really look flourish to any of you guys, I'm not sure. I'm not sure whether I'm now imagining that. I've cut it round a little bit because it was maybe a little bit strange kind of in shape. Oh, perhaps it's still a bit strange. Oh, perhaps I won't use that. I'm probably just trying to make use of everything, you know, that's laying about. And, you know, sometimes you can just try and force things, can't you, to fit when really they just don't. So, but I do want to have a bit of green somewhere because I do think the green does look pretty. So I'm just going to put this up here. And again, I'm just going to use that hot glue because, you know, the ruched lace will just stick much more instantly against there. So like that. Okie dokie. And just trim that off at the edge. I mean, as you can see, it's overhanging at the edge. Personally, I mean, I quite like that, but you know, of course you must do things as, you know, as you like them. So that's that piece, which I just think looks really, really pretty. So of course we want to make something to go behind here. I don't want to put this behind there because I'm just going to paper clip this on somewhere. I mean, I could paper clip it here. Oops, glued that together now. Okay, I could do it there. I'm not sure. Perhaps we'll have it like here or something. And I will probably clip that onto both, if you see what I mean, because that's quite a heavy piece. I feel like maybe it would benefit from being attached to 2 pages rather than 1. Just because, that, you know, it's quite heavy for 1 page to just take all that weight, I think. So, yeah, like that. Now, what are we going to put in that pocket? Okay, got some coffee dyed paper here. Well, not paper, but card. It's just floating on my desk. So I'll just trim that down a bit. Just try and make it vaguely resemble some sort of shape rather than just completely, you know, I've just been found on somebody's desk type shape, which was obviously what it was resembling. Okay. Again, just pull my pages back in. No, not that one. Here's the one that I've started tearing. Here we go. I've got these. I mean, again, I think this is going to be much too big for here, but we can always, you know, tear it down. So like that. okay. Okay, so that's quite nice like that. I could always get rid of a bit more of this greenery from the bottom, because that is quite, you know, quite long still. So we just tear that down a bit more. And have it like that, I think. So again, just take off a bit of the green doily here. Oops. To just have like poking out behind it. Like that. And then what else could we have there? Oh, I'm not sure now. Because the, you know, this page had folded over, I couldn't really see. So, oh, I don't know now. Let me just grab in. What am I trying to do? What am I trying to grab in? I don't know. Let's have a bit more of this lovely newspaper. I mean, this newspaper is just such a brilliant colour. It just looks fantastic wherever you put it, I think. So I just absolutely love it. Okay. Okie dokie. Just pop that there. Dab it off a little bit. Okay, and then we just do a little bit of the green down there, I think. Maybe that way round. Hang on, let me put my flower back. So I hope everyone's having a good day. I hope you're doing some crafting, doing some nice things. I hope life is treating everybody well. It's a weird old day today. Kind of was quite bright earlier. It's gradually clouding over now. And yeah, not looking quite so good. I don't know what the forecast was, but yeah, I hope it stays okay, you know. Dry at least would be good. Yeah, my daughter's up here doing crafting with me as well. For her Barbie. I had to laugh because the other day she was cutting up her Barbie's dress, and I said, "Oh, why are you cutting up your Barbie's dress?" Well, the little sleeve type strap bit for the Barbie's dress had actually come off, so she just said, "Well, it's broken anyway." And I thought, well, what can I say really? Because I mean, obviously she's watching me constantly, you know, using her old clothes and things when she grows out of them. So, you know, what could I say?
And now I'm using Barbie's clothes.
Yeah, and now she's using Barbie's clothes. So, you know, can't really say a lot to that, can you?
I'm putting it back on her.
And now she's putting it back on her. But, yeah, I just thought, oh dear. Talk about lead by example, or as you should be leading. And clearly not. Right, I have that bit of lace, look, that I was determined to put somewhere. I'm just going to put it up here. In, you know, just any old fashion really. Just going to just sort of stick it on. And then I'm going to obviously cut around it to tidy it up a bit. So we just trim that up like that. Oops. Maybe a bit more. Yeah, that looks quite nice, doesn't it? And then just have a little word there. Again, it was just like floating on my desk. I had strong and I had independent. Independent I thought was a bit weird with a flower, but strong, you know, that can be okay, can't it, with a flower? It's, you know, it's not too strange, is it? So we'll just have that one, and again, just ink that up. Just so as it stands out a bit better. Put that there. Yeah. She's now remaking the dress. Okay. So just pop that down like that. Okay, I like how that looks. Now, I am just wondering actually, you may have seen my video recently where I was making those tabs, which I was really excited to have discovered how to make tabs. I mean, obviously you can make them on your punch board, but you know, I was just aware that not everybody always has a punch board. So yeah, I was excited to have kind of made some without a punch board. And I made a whole bunch, kept them in one of my little file folder thingamajigglies, and now can I find them? What have I done with them? I'm not sure now. Because I just thought, oh, that would be awesome to be able to finish this off with a tab. No, I've got them up here. No. Oh, what have I done with them? Don't you just hate it when you can't find things? Hold on. Right, I'm going to have to stop the video and hunt them down because that's very annoying. Hold on a moment, guys. Okay, I found them. They were where I first looked, but they were just kind of buried further than where I had looked, if you see what I mean. Okay, so I have some of these tabs, and I've got some of the ones that we made with the napkins, which they might look quite cute. Just having a look. I need to make some more with the napkins, to be honest, because I love this green one, but I'm not so keen on the blue showing. Well, I guess what I can do is if I just chop that down like that. So these were the ones made with my envelope punch board, and then the other ones obviously were the ones that I made kind of more freehand. And you know, I think they're both handy. Now, oops, I'm kind of thinking like on the side, like that. The only thing is, I want it tucking in here. So let me just check how this would be tucked in. Just want to check that it all fits, you know, if I put that on the side. It does, so that's all fine. So I'm just going to ink that up. Oh, thank you, sweetheart. My son's just bought me a cup of tea. Lovely. Oh, that's a relief, because I was beginning to go dry, and I can just tell when I'm quite dehydrated, because I then start, you know, making absolutely no sense whatsoever. Right, I'm just checking that I wouldn't prefer it this side. Hang on. I mean, to be honest, I think it's quite nice either side, but maybe it's better that side. No, maybe I'll go with the first side. Right, go with your instincts. Go with as I first planned. So just going to glue it down on like both sides of the tab. Come on, glue. Oh, come on. This glue is really full. I don't know why it's making those noises as if it's full of air. It's you know, it's a pretty full bottle. So I'm just then gluing it all down like that, and then we just glue it down here to the side of that little journaling card. There we go. Okay, so cute. Yeah, love how that looks. Okay, now do we want anything else on there? I mean, I know it's only a little card, but it's surprising how much stuff you can actually fit on there, isn't it? So we could have a little bit of lace or something on that little tab. What do you think? Let's just try a bit. And it doesn't really need it, but let's just have it on there. So I'll just put some glue straight onto the lace, I think. Okay. Right, just dab up the excess glue. Okay, that can just pop in there. That was a long time doing that, wasn't it? Right, so that's those bits. So it's all coming along quite nicely. Now we need something obviously to put in here. So let me move the journal sort of to one side so it's not in the way. Now I did also bring along a little glassine bag, which we could obviously, you know, just fill with some things. Or could we make a little booklet? That's going to be very tiny in that, you know, that quite biggish pocket. Let's just have a look. Or we could use, hang on, let me just bring in what else I've got sort of down here. So I've got obviously some more of the Rambler's Notes pages, and what we could do is make like a little envelopey pouch, to be honest. So let's just fold that in about there. And just fold this over like that. And again, probably what I'll do is stitch this around on the sewing machine, just around the edge. But I'm going to obviously make this smaller because at the moment that's like the full height of the journal, so it wouldn't even fit, you know, into that pocket. So just need to trim that down quite a lot. I'll just trim it at the bottom as well. Oh my gosh, look at my hideous cutting. Oh my goodness me. Awful, awful. Right, well that's a bit better. So yeah, I will just obviously sew that down, sew that round, sorry, on the sewing machine, and then we've got a little envelope, and then tucked inside. So I just need to check that that's going to fit into that pocket. Wrong side. I'll just check it will fit. Oh look at what I've done. Oh, it's too big for the book. What a wally. It's because I haven't drunk the rest of that tea yet. Right, so what I'm going to do, we'll scrap that idea. I'm going to cut this down now. Oh, my cutting is so off today. Absolutely terrible. Right, so let's just check if that would fit in there now. Okay, well that's better. And so what we'll do, we'll make like a little, either like a little miniature journal to just pop in there, or, oops, lucky we don't mind tea stain, isn't it? Oh dear, honestly. I should really get rid of my tea, shouldn't I, off the desk? Still quite hot. Okay, right. So just squash that down. Okay, so we can either make pages inside it or like a little, you know, flippy pad when you open it. So let me see what I've got to make the pages from. So I could use some of this, you know, green doily paper. So I'm just going to cut that down. So I'm thinking here at the moment, go for the flippy pad. obviously it needs to come down a little bit in length. So I've got that one. I've got some of the coffee dyed doily here. So we can just have that as a sheet. I mean, it's a bit torn, but I mean, I can just tear it down and then just cut it here. Because I mean, the pages don't all have to be identical sizes or anything like that. It's quite nice to have a mixture. And then let me just pull in some of my coffee dyed and my green dyed pages. Okay, so I've got some coffee dyed and I also have some of the green. So we'll just fold this over. Like that, and then just kind of line it up, you know, roughly where you tear it in. Like that. And then we'll just chop those down. Okie dokie. And we'll just do the same with the green ones. Just chop them down. Okay, right. So then my little flippy pad, I'll just kind of intermix, you know, some green, some coffee dyed, so it's not like literally the same everywhere you look. And then just top it off with those couple of napkins. Not napkins, sorry, doily. Sorry, my daughter's up here and it just always makes it a little bit difficult to concentrate, doesn't it? When somebody's kind of like hopping around and in and out of your pen pot, you know, it just makes it difficult to concentrate. Okay, right. So we'll decorate the front of this up with, some of us can see what else we've got. I mean, these ones would be really good, wouldn't they, here? Okay, there we go. So just going to have them somewhere on here. I haven't decided yet where. And then I'm just drinking water in case you wondered what that weird noise was. It's a flask, kind of doing like the air thing that the glue does. Right, okay. So might have that little word there from the book page as well. Keep that book page just in case we want it for anything else. Just finish my tea and get it off the desk. Okay, right. Oh, I still have more of that lovely newspaper, so I think what we'll do, we'll have some of that in the background. So I'll just reach and get it. Oh, I have a tiny bit here. I knocked everything flying as I reached for it. So perhaps we'll have something like that, and then wonder what I'd done with this green bit here for a minute. It's just gone missing. Maybe like that. Kind of thinking something glassy-y in the background would be quite good, or actually maybe even just some of that green paper, the plain the plain green paper might be quite good. So let me just grab another sheet of that. Hold on. Okay, right. Grabbing another sheet. Oh, it's just all like on the floor in a pile. It is all tidy and ironed, but it's just all there in a big pile behind me. So I'm just thinking. She's finished making the dress and she's just binned this. You know, like my first thought was like, oh, could I use that for anything? What is wrong with me? What is wrong with me, honestly? Crazy, crazy. Oh, that's now the wrong shape. Look, I've torn it the wrong shape. Right, let me try again. I want a sort of longer shape, really. So this has got a big splosh of coffee on it, which probably isn't quite so good, but oh well. Tear that down. Oh, she looks beautiful. Okay. Right. So I'll just ink up around the edges a little bit of here. I might need to tear this down slightly more, to be honest, because maybe it's slightly big still for the piece. I'm just going to ink that up a little bit. Okay. Oh, we watched another grand tour yesterday. I mean, I do love those. They are so funny. And the one yesterday, I mean, obviously they're all quite old now. I mean, I don't know how old, you know, I don't mean they're old as in they're dated, but I don't actually think they're even making them anymore. So, you know, they're a few years old. And the one that we watched yesterday, hadn't ever seen it before, but they did this thing where, what did they call it? Office car park racing or something. You know, the mad kind of things that they do. So they were like, you know, if you ever wondered what to do in your lunch break, well, how about some office car park racing? So they got these kind of two companies who were on this industrial park, and they, you know, set up like a little circuit around like the industrial kind of park there. And you know, they had like office chairs, you know, like the spinny chairs, they had those. People had to like kind of swerve in and out and things. I mean, people were using their own cars, and I have to say they were racing around the little track, you know, that they'd made, or the circuit that they'd made. I couldn't believe that people were doing that in their own cars, you know, and weren't worried about about damaging their own cars. They were really good drivers, most of the people. Yeah, I mean, there was one guy, he ploughed into the bins. They called it, I think they called it bin corner, or I can't remember, bin corner, I think. And he ploughed into all the bins. But he was the only person who, you know, was filmed anyway, sort of hitting anything, which I was pretty shocked, because they all looked like they were going quite fast, you know, and I mean, obviously the road was kind of closed off, so it was just them using it. But yeah, I mean, obviously I wouldn't recommend people just doing that ordinarily, but it was just very, very funny to watch. And I was just shocked that people were going for it, you know, in their own cars and not worried about writing their cars off. But it was fun. Very, very fun. And, you know, the people were pretty good drivers, actually. I was quite, you know, quite surprised at how good all the people were at driving. So it was quite funny. And they were test driving, you know, they do like pick a car or a couple of cars or whatever to feature that week as their kind of car that they're going to be, you know, focusing around. And it was the, oh my gosh, Bugatti Chiron, I think it was called. Memory like a sieve, honestly, this was last night and already I can't remember now what the car was called. But anyway, the fastest car in the world then, I don't know whether it still is, as I say, the programs are, you know, they're a few years old now. And it was £2 million, £2 million. Yep. So not your car for, like, you know, your everyday person, but I mean, wow, it was a lovely looking car. I mean, it was lovely on the outside, but it was even lovelier on the inside. It was like absolutely beautiful. So yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, no car surely is worth £2 million, but it was a, you know, was a really lovely looking car. Okay. And I'm sure Jeremy Clarkson, I think, said, you know, if you were driving flat out, it could drain the whole tank of fuel, I think he said, in 9 minutes. I mean, what on earth? That's incredible, isn't it? So, yeah, I mean, even if you could afford to buy the car, my gosh, it's not going to be cheap to run at all. And, you know, let's face it, most people probably wouldn't even know, you know, I wouldn't recognise one if I just saw that car in the street. I mean, I guess, you know, some people would, but, I mean, probably a lot of people wouldn't. Whoa! Sorry, my pile's just that second toppled down. Hold on. I'll just get it to a point where it's just staying there while I glue this piece down, at least. Okay. Well, it was only a matter of time, wasn't it, before it toppled down. Right, let me just move everything a little bit more. Yeah, I've got sort of lots of half-finished things from other videos piled up there. Oh, thank you, darling. Beautiful heart that she's cut out there. What was I saying? Yeah, anyway, the whole pile of rubbish from other videos that's just sort of sat there and literally piled up, and now she's knocked it and it's now coming down again. So hold on. Look, sweetie, I don't think you can keep doing that, darling. It's literally about to fall off. Okay. Right, hopefully that's okay. I hope that's not now actually in view of you guys. Okay, right. Crisis averted, hopefully, for the minute anyway. So what I'm going to do is obviously, you know, I might just stitch this on the sewing machine and then pop that in there. I will round the corners of this so as it looks slightly nicer. But then you've got like a nice little flippy sort of pad tucked into here. And then what we could do actually is we could just pop a little pocket here on the front as well. So let's just very quickly do that. Oh, look, everything's literally toppling down. Oh dear, let me just turn the video off. Hold on. Okay, so I have moved that pile now, so hopefully we're you know, safe from danger for the moment. Don't get me wrong, it's just piled the other side, so although it won't come down on the desk, it may well fall onto the floor. Right, let's see what section of the book page that we might use as a pocket. Oops. I was looking for this yesterday. I know, like, why would I be looking for that? But I was, believe it or not. Okay, that's a bit too nice. Oh, this might be cute because it's got these little flowers at the bottom. So, yeah, just going to cut that down here. Just cut it across here, and then I'm going to tidy it up in a minute. So, just see. Okay. So, I mean, not really ideal, but never mind. Okay. So if I put that there, I will do a little thumb hole. I mean, unfortunately, I have sort of mucked it up really size-wise. So I think what I'll do is just trim it down here now. That might be a bit better. Yeah, I think that is a little bit better. Now, just before I do that, I'm also going to do this other thing that I had seen. Who had I seen? I think I saw Barbara from 49 Dragonflies do this, and she just did like a couple of holes and then, you know, covered them with these things, these little hole reinforcers. I think she said she'd seen Nick the Booksmith do it, and they just looked so cool. So, you know, I don't necessarily always think that they would match the style of journal. But this particular journal, I just thought, actually, I think this would quite suit that type of thing. So I'm just going to have those there. Again, let me just ink them up a little bit. I mean, I guess what you could do is then have little eyelets in them as well. Should we do that? I can't remember. I've got to be truthful. I can't remember whether she did that or not. I don't think she did, but I could be wrong. So yeah, but let's do that. So put that up there. Again, it's all just balancing precariously. So fingers crossed, it's not going to drop on us. Okey-dokey. So let's put this in here. Just adding something kind of cool, you know, to the look of it, really. Okay. Oh, I don't know whether they're squashed in enough now, to be honest, but probably not. Oh dear. Try and squash them in again. Okay, right, hopefully they're a bit better. Oh gosh, I've squashed that one too much, I think, now. Oh well, they look okay. They're probably as good as they're going to get, to be honest. Right, so that's those, and then I'm going to just pop my little pocket on here. I'm going to put a thumb hole in it, if I can see my circle punch. There it is. That out the way, and then I'm just going to ink this up here like that. Bit there. Lovely, gorgeous, stunning. It's just done a little Martha Stewart butterfly there. Okay, right. So I'm just going to then pop that on there on the front, not the front, the inside, you know, the inside of the front. So just then pop that down. Now obviously this is only single book page, so it's not going to be like the world's most robust pocket or anything like that, but you know, hopefully it will be okay. You know, we definitely, you know, I won't be overstuffing it or anything like that, so it will hopefully do the job. Okay, and then of course might just sort of well, not might just, I'm just going to trim up these edges. Okay, so that's our little journal-y piece. Well, it's not really a journal because it's going to have the flippy pad, but that's our little piece there. We're going to have the flippy pad. Do you know what? I'm just going to staple this because then I can just do it now, whereas otherwise I'm just constantly saying to you guys, you know, oh, I'm just, you know, I'm going to sew this and sew that, and then you don't really kind of see see the whole process. So I'll just staple that across. The staples are fine. You know, they're just as good. And then, oops, sorry, I now have threads of hot glue on me. And then I'm just going to glue that in there. I'll just use my hot glue to stick that down. Just run that there. Pop that in like that. Okay, and then what I'll do is just cover up the staples. Again, I'm just going to bring in that yellow lace. Again, just ink up a little tiny section. Like that. And we just then, oops, glue that down. You know, it just sort of finishes it off a bit more attractively, I guess, than just having the staples on show. Like that. Okay, so that's our little sort of journal-y piece. And actually, what we could do is then have, should we have one of those little, what do you call it? You know, thingamajigglies. Wonder if this is long enough to wrap around. Let me see. Probably not. Oh, it might just, you know, it might just about. So again, just going to ink this up like that. And get my pokey tool. Oh no, where's my pokey tool gone? I always leave that in the same place. And oh my goodness me, don't believe it, I've actually put it somewhere never to be found again. Oh, thank goodness. Look, it was just there, buried, not too far. Okay, so we just have this kind of there, and we get just a brad. There we go. Oops, come on. Like that. Squash it down. Like that. And then again, just take that green thread. I mean, actually, I could have used some of that gorgeous baker's twine that I got in my lovely Happy Mail from Amy. I'm only using this because it just happened to be floating on the desk, which is so annoying because whatever it was that I wanted it for yesterday, which I can't even remember now, I couldn't find it. But anyway, it's gone now from the desk, so one less thing floating about. Not that that's going to make a significant difference, obviously. But there we go. Right. So, you know, the good news is obviously that embroidery thread, it's not sort of too bulky or anything because, of course, you know, this is just a little tuck-in piece. So we didn't really want anything too bulky. Right, let's bring the journal back in. Oops, again, as I touch everything, it all goes flying. Okay, there we go. And that can just go in the back like that. So the journal's coming along nicely. I mean, it's getting quite fat, I have to say already, and it's not overly stuffed. So this is, I think, not going to be a really stuffed full journal, if you see what I mean, because some of my pages themselves are quite bulky by nature. You know, I'll have to, I think, keep the, you know, the stuffing down a little bit. But that's fine. And yeah, I really am enjoying how it's coming along so far. So I hope you guys like it. And yeah, thank you so much for joining me. And I will hopefully see you all again soon. Thanks then.